Hi there, and welcome back to 7mm Sidings. And today the video is going to be quite a bit different from the normal format. I've been asked by a friend of mine, Jim McGreechy, if I would do a video showing how I do the videos, so how I actually make the videos, put them together and do that sort of thing. So, got a second camera over here. Hi, that's going to film me being filmed by this camera. So what we're going to do is run through the sequence that I normally do, using the camera that's in front of me now that I'm talking into, with the other camera set up in various places, trying to show exactly what I'm doing. We'll see how it comes out at the end. It might be okay, but it'll give you some idea anyway of what I do to try and put these videos together. So we'll see you in a moment. Thank you. So as you've already seen, quite a technical setup in here. This is the camera that I use. It's the Canon IXUS 190. A very basic camera. It's got a bit of a zoom on it and just comes in and out, and then I've got the screen at the back, usual little pocket camera, and that's all I use for the videos. So you'll now see me filming from here. So what I've done, I've set up the Fuji camera up on the bridge, and that will film down the layout, so it'll give a good idea of what I'm up to. I've put the fiddle yard at this end in position, and there'll be a train coming in on the main line here shortly, and that will just run through from the other fiddle yard. If anybody hasn't seen video 67, I can recommend that one, because that does a tour of the room and shows exactly how both the fiddle yards work, because I've got the other fiddle yard here which I call 7 Up Junction, and that of course feeds back down to this side of the room where the bench road stabling point is. So to get a good idea of how the whole thing works, video 67, it's well worth a little look at that just to see what happens. So let's get some trains running now, and we're using the Ace Signatrack controller, and on there we can set up a loco, which is going to be loco 2585. And then I can also assign it to a handset. So if I assign it to the handset A, so we go loco again 2585, enter. It's already allocated, so we OK that, and then I can go to handset A and I can press button 1 and that will start it up. So that's starting the loco up, which is down in the far fiddle yard down there at the moment, and that will, as I say, run through. Control panels there for all the points and the couple of sections. One point of interest here is that top line there, which was part of the old fueling road. When the switch is in the up position, it's the programming track. When it's down, it's the main track, so it's normally just set to the main track. And so I've got the control panel there now set for the handset, so I can have 4 handsets if I wanted. I've only got 2, and as you can see the other one's got the Network Southeast 33 allocated to it. That was from when I was doing some testing earlier. So let's get on now and we'll run some trains. Okay, what I always try and do is to get the camera, if I can, angled so that I'm not getting too much of the fiddle yard area in the shot. So in other words, we're starting from about here if we can. That just gives it a little bit more reality to it, if you like, and makes it look a little bit better. Okay, so I'm recording now. And again, I'll try and get around about the wall level if I can, and that way we can get a better shot, more realistic shot if it's at the low level. loco forward. I'm recording on here now, and about road level. We sound the horn for the crossing. Oh, there's a loco coming into 7 mils. It's a class 25. So as you can see, I have to multitask, working the camera, work the handset, sound the horn, and talk all at the same time if I'm doing a commentary. So it can get a little bit, let's say, fraught at times. When things go wrong, it's a bit of a pain. And zoom in there at the end as that loco goes out of sight. Turn off the speed and apply the brake. One thing I can do when I'm editing, in the editing suite, I've got the start point and the end point, so I can shorten the actual piece of filming, but I can also go into the fade in and fade out. So if I want to fade in, I've got slow, medium or fast fade in, and the same with the fade out. So if I'm bringing a loco from the fiddle yard onto the layout, I can fade the sound in, and likewise if I'm going from the layout to the fiddle yard, I can fade the sound out on there. If I'm running from fiddle yard to fiddle yard, I have them both set to fade in and out slow, and that way it's just like the real thing and goes in and out. So once I've edited the film, I go through and I do that as well, so that it's a better balance. So what I've done now, I've allocated the Scotty Dog loco to handset B 3781, so the loco number is 37081. So I've done that. That's set up in the fiddle yard down there, ready to come out. So the next job is to go to handset B and press start. We start the loco up and we make sure we put the lights on. I do like these handsets, although you haven't got so many functions as you have with something like a gauge master or a lens maybe. You've got the necessary ones on there, and because the chip is set up so that flange squeal will come on all the time the loco's moving, and being a yard, that suits me down to the ground. So let's film this one coming through now. So the camera is set up ready. I've zoomed in towards the bridge, which is the Mills Lane Bridge. I've just got to change a point because I want it to go into the middle road and up the end. So then grab handset, make sure the loco's in the right direction, and we start the loco moving. It's at this point now where I would normally do the edit as a start point once the loco's already moving. So sound the horn because it's coming under the bridge. Zoom out with the camera whilst holding the hand controller and trying to keep the camera steady on the tripod as well, and film the loco just moving past at a steady pace. That's going up, and then again trying to hold the handset and trying to zoom in with the camera whilst the loco goes up there. That's going up, and then again trying to hold the handset and trying to zoom in with the camera whilst the loco goes up there, and shut the speed off on the controller and work the brake as well. Change the point, and then we'll change direction on the loco, and then horn, and then we're going to come back now The camera is still set on zoomed in, so we'll have to now bring the zoom out a little bit to get the whole loco moving forward. As it comes into the siding. And again, keeping the camera steady, slowing the loco down, applying the brake and trying not to move the wagon at the same time. And there we go. So that has now come up to the wagon and is sitting in the yard. Now you quite often hear me talking about getting up on the embankment by the Mills Lane Bridge, and just as spotters would do, I imagine that I'm sitting somewhere up on the corner up here by the road bridge looking down across the yard. So the camera is set up there and the view down across the yard is a bit like that. So we'll do a bit of filming from there, taking the 37 back into the siding. So I've set the camera up to show me filming from here. I'm now filming from this camera. I've got the loco, I've got the fiddle yard lined up, and the 37 is now going to come back and push the wagon back into the fiddle yard. Work the horn, try and keep the camera steady, as though I'm up on the embankment looking down from the bridge, and the loco goes out of sight into the fiddle yard, or the top yard, whatever I want to call it, door end. Once the footage is in the camera, I'll make up folders on the computer, and this is one that I did earlier of the stock, which will actually be the video that follows this, but you can also see there, that's the folder where this will all go into once I download it later on. But let's have a look in here. So now that's out on the screen, so you can see when I did this one, that was the opening sequence and the closing sequence, and then the various videos. So what I'm going to show now is how I upload this onto the computer, so that you'll get a better idea of what we're doing on that. So down the page here I've got a folder that says opening shot copy, so I just double click on that, and that takes me into Windows Media Player. So what I've got on here now is, that's the opening title. That section there is where the 220s run through with the 7mm Sidings name, and that's the closing credits. So everything else now will go between those two frames in there. So everything I've downloaded will go in there now. So if we just click onto the play button here, and you can see that I haven't turned the music on. So that's what you're getting, and that's coming through there. And I'll have to stop it in a moment, because I want to change the title, because the title now will be wrong. So that says 7mm Sidings 73. So that 7mm siding 73 now needs changing to 75B in this case. So I go back there, I go 75B, and then we can carry on running through on that sequence. What I'm also going to do now is I'm going to put an extra title on this one using captions up here, just to say that this is a special video for showing what stock I've got. So I'll do that next, and the batteries have actually run out on the camera, so I'm going to change that as well. So you can now see I've changed that one to 7mm siding stock special 2021. So that will now run in with the sequence, so that it's all part of the opening credits. And I had that timed for 5 seconds. And this is where I need to stop it now, because I'm almost at the point where I need to start adding the new frames. So to add a new frame, we go to the home page, which is there, click on add videos, and that brings up the page which is the wrong one. That's a previous one. I then need to find the folder that we're going to use, which is that one there, and then we want to select the first one there. So I'm going to rename that before I do. So I'll rename that now. That shouldn't have happened. And all I do on renaming is put a U, capital U, in front of the number. So I'll put a U there in front of the number. That's a small one. Capital U in front of the number. So that is now a used file. So that will then go to the bottom of the page now. Stays on there, but I know it's been used. And then we open up. And what happens is it has to prepare it now for putting into the video. So it's not usable just at the moment, and I've got a blank screen. That screen will come to life in a moment, and that's where I start the video. So you can see that I have to set the camera up to begin with, and before I start talking I then go into the editing suite and set the start point. I can then, well, there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. Just a little insight in, seem to have got the wrong one in the wrong order. Never mind, we'll sort that out. I did have them round in the wrong order, but it doesn't matter because I've redone it now, and they're both on there. So that's the opening and closing ones. And then hello, welcome once again to 7mm Sidings. So that will then, God, that's better. So that will now carry on through. What I also do is to go into animation at the top, and in animation we come on down, and I come right down to the very bottom, and I go into cinematic, click on cinematic, and I do that for a 3-second duration. So I'm changing that to 3 seconds, and what that does, that now gives me a fade in. So you've probably seen that on previous videos. So there we go. So rather than just a straightforward from one frame to another, you've got that fraction delay where you've got a grey area in between. And it's the same on this one here. You can see on there it fades out and goes from one to the other, so that it's not just a sharp changeover. So what I've got to do now is put all the rest of those videos between the two horrible faces, and then that will give me the opening title, the class 20s running through, my introduction, then there'll be the series of videos, my closing statement, and then the closing credits. So that is the next job to do, and we'll come back once I've done that. So there we go. That's all the movie uploaded, and that's just the end of the testing there, just to make sure that everything's working as it should do. So the next job is to save the program. So I need to save this now for YouTube. So we're back on the home page, and we go into Save Movie, and we drop down to YouTube, and then we have to find a title for it. So it's going to be 7mm Sidings. It's going to be 75B. So I'll just amend that to 75B. So the video is now saved as 75B. We save that, and once that's completed, that'll be saved to the desktop, and then we'll move on to the next stage. So that's saving the program to the movie maker. So once that is completely saved, which takes around about 10 minutes or so, depending on the length of the video, then we'll move on to the next stage. So there we go. You can see now that the file has been saved. Now we can now open that folder, and what we're doing, we're going back onto the main screen, and we'll find the video here somewhere, which will be down the bottom. There we go. So that's now saved. So the next phase now is to put it through the handbrake, which will reduce it. As you can see it's 757 megabytes, whatever that means, 20.59 minutes long, whereas one that's gone through the handbrake system will come out 12 minutes 387 megabytes. So when you go through the handbrake system, it virtually halves it. And you can see I've got all these others here waiting to be loaded up, which will appear on the YouTube channel over the coming weeks. So this is the handbrake program that I've got, and that's the one that shrinks it down and makes it half the megabytes of the normal video coming off the screen, shall we say. So that's the handbrake program, and we're going to go into open a single file, and then we'll come on down, we'll find the file that we want, which is the one that we've just saved, which is 75B. So that's the one that we're going to save, and we're now going to shrink that down to half its size. So at the moment, again, you can still see 757 megabytes. Once you've got it up on the screen, you have to go into the bottom corner where it says browse, click on there, and then more or less do the same thing again. So we find 75B again, and there it is, and it comes in the bottom here, but in front of it we have to put the word pictures. I don't really know why, but so we put the word pictures in there, and then we go to save, and then we go to start encoding at the top. I've used the sort of factory settings on here, which we can always get on here, but as you can see, it's now time remaining 32 minutes, time elapsed 14 seconds, pending no other jobs. And at the end here you can decide what you want to do when you finish with it. You've got choices there. I've just done mine set for quitting the handbrake. So what that will give me back on the main screen, if I can find it, will be 75B that we had, and then there'll be another 75B down here that will end up being half the size roughly of the other one. So then we delete the first one, rename the second one by taking away the word pictures, and that then becomes the smaller size, the same as these others are up here. Sounds a bit complicated, but once you've done it a few times it becomes fairly straightforward. So that'll be the next phase. Once that's done, there is no more to show you really, because it will be a case then of just uploading to YouTube, which the ones in black here have been uploaded to YouTube and the ones in grey have not. So once you've uploaded to YouTube, they change colour from grey into black. So these previous ones you've already maybe seen on YouTube. As I say, if you want to get a tour of the room, 67 is the one for that, and that gives you a tour of the pod, the pit of doom, and shows you how the layout operates. So that's how we do it. Thank you for watching now. So there we have it. Hope that's given you some idea of what I do when I'm putting a video on. Even a 12-minute video can take best part of half a day to film sometimes, and another almost half a day to edit out onto the computer and save and download and put all the bits and pieces on. So I hope you've enjoyed it. We will be back to running soon. The next video, which is 75B, will be all about my stock, the locos, the sound chips, excuse me, that are in them, and generally bits and pieces like that. So I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen today. Thanks again for watching now. Bye.